Good evening and welcome to Portland Metro Records presents Off the Record. I am sitting here today with the fabulous Terri Lynn Davis. She's a local country artist, and she's also going to be part of our first look coming up on November 1st. So hi Terri, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. So Terri Lynn, you're actually going to be the first country artist featured on First Look.
Yes, I am.
Tell us about your sound.
Well, the sound kind of has ebbed and flowed between classic honky-tonk country music, kind of Kitty Wells, Merle Haggard, kind of the old school sound, to some bluegrass roots in there a little bit. On our album we sound like that, but a lot of the newer stuff is more kind of honky-tonk, but we're kind of a crossover in between all of those genres.
And it's so unusual because you're actually a closet heavy metal girl.
Yes.
So how did a closet heavy metal girl cross over into country?
Well, I also am from the Southwest, so the only thing that my family and I can agree on is country music.
Nice.
No, I grew up on a farm and always listened to country music growing up, and my grandmother owned a bar.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of the songs and the style of writing and communicating was like done through music, and that kind of just always resonated with me and stuck with me. And family is important, and friendships and community, and so for me, country music was just one of those ties that I could still keep to home, even though I'm more of a Pacific Northwest person.
Yeah. So you say you grew up in the Southwest. Did you grow up in desert Southwest or?
I grew up in Farmington, New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
But most of my dad's side of the family are all West Texas people. So I've spent a lot of time in those areas, and my brother lives in Midland, Texas, and so, yeah.
My daughter lives in New Braunfels, Texas.
Oh,
I got a
I've been there.
too.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So in your journey through music, where did it all start? Where did it begin for you as far as putting a band together, putting a record together? How did that all come about for you?
Well, I started off playing bass and moved to Montana and played bass for a singer-songwriter that was out there. And then when I left Montana, I went back to New Mexico, and a couple of years into it, started really writing my own songs. And I've always been a writer. I have my master's in writing from Portland State University.
That's great.
But I just never liked sitting and writing long stories. I wasn't really even a short story person, even though I had stories to tell. And I wasn't a poetry person either. I didn't really fit that mold either. And so once I started writing songs and then figuring out how to play chords and kind of putting that together, I moved back to Portland and basically started my first band, which was not Yonder Blue, but Big City Wind Down, where I wrote the songs for that, and we had a lead singer and a whole band around the songs. And then when that band dismembered, I started working on just kind of doing it myself. And then for Yonder Blue, I've just been kind of interchanging band members and bringing them in. And players, yeah. And so it's awesome to hear the songs come alive in a very different way with different players and different accents. And on the album we have 3-part harmonies, and everyone in my band that's played with me is all in many other projects. Yep. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it all started. We went right into the studio. My drummer also produced the EP that we have out. Oh, okay. And so we started working on the songs way before we brought in people to play. And so it was kind of like, here's all the charts. And then we went right into the studio and recorded, and then basically have just been promoting the album since. So
that's great. And we have some mutual friends in common with
yes,
Eli from Brass Tacks.
Yeah.
He plays with you, correct?
Yeah. He plays guitar for me.
Yep, and then Kevin Hahn from Opal Studios produced your album.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
then we both had the same vocal coach, Eugene Lewis.
Yeah, Eugene's the one who got me going vocally. Yeah.
The voice whisperer.
I know, he's amazing. He's in Montana right now, actually.
That's what I read.
Yeah, we have mutual friends in Montana from when I lived out there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, as far as singing influences go, do you pull from the heavy metal side, or do you pull from the country side, or is it just kind of you've just come up with your own mix?
I'm a huge Deftones fan.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they put a lot of change ups in their music and they bring in a lot of different styles.
Mm-hmm.
And we like to do that too with our songs. And my drummer, fortunately, is a Deftones fan as well.
Nice.
And so, yeah, we kind of like, it's always like, this is what I want to reference somehow in this song. And so I'll just play that for him. He's like, oh, okay, we'll do it this way. And
cool.
So, yeah, that's kind of how we communicated. But I think other than that, it's always just been like Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton and
you've had the chance to open for some of your heroes, some of the bigger acts in town. Who've been some of the big acts you've had the chance to open for?
I haven't opened for too many, but my friend Katie Llewellyn, she's with Reckless Company.
Yep.
And I opened for her out at Ponderosa.
Yep.
New Year's Eve. I know, she's incredible, and she's also on the album as well. She's one of the vocalists. So that was probably one of the biggest shows I played for.
Nice.
And then when I had my previous band, we played like Hood River Hot Fest and went out to Montana and opened for the Clintons at summer camp that's hosted in Helena, and that was like 3,000 people. And
wow.
So I've had some fortunate opportunities through connections and networking to open for people, but doing the solo thing, I'm just getting started, kind of doing solo with accompaniment, and yeah, just that's fairly new.
For you, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of neat because it leaves you a little bit vulnerable, so the audience tends to have a little bit of sympathy for you. And at the same time, when you end up blowing them away, then you just get that much more respect.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the plan. That would be a nice goal.
What advice do you have for some of the upcoming singer-songwriters out there, especially the local folks in Portland that are out there in those little Tuesday night music clubs and coffee shops around town?
Oh, I would say, I think what I've found is just staying true to your sound and not really like molding to fit the groove of what's happening, because a lot of times you get pulled in directions of where you think you should go, and you try to go those directions even though you feel like that's not really what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get burned out pretty easily, and I think when you stay true to about the style and the way that you want things to go, you just like are more more apt to like want to keep going and find that energy when you're kind of burnt out on it.
That's true, and a lot of times people don't realize that the stuff they're hearing on the radio, depending on where it came from, it could be a year or two old.
Yeah.
So you might be already trying to adapt to a trend that's already died out somewhere else. So you might as well
yeah,
blaze
you kind of
your own
want to be
trail.
the trendsetter and stick to your I've just been so blessed to have such an awesome community of musicians and support group around me to be able to be at the place where I'm at with my music right now. And that is super important, because the negativity and there's tons of that, and people trying to feed off of it, and you can jump right into all of that just as much as avoiding it and just staying with like the people who are supportive.
That's the truth.
And there's a great community around the Portland area for songwriting and working on music and just kind of exploring those options. And I would just say, but hone in to your sound and what you want to do, and stick with that.
Stick with that, kids. She knows what she's talking about.
Most of the time. Yeah.
So tonight you're going to be playing a song for us, and
Well, I'm tired of feeling all alone.
you actually brought some accompaniment. Who's the gentleman?
Yeah, I brought Will Kinky with me, and he's got a million projects going on, but he has the Kinky Brothers, and he plays all over Gemini. He's even a lot bigger artist way bigger artist than I am, but
You're too humble.
he's been he's set in with us for a few shows, and he plays lap steel and guitar and piano, and he's kind of an all-around player, and he's always great to have around, and he's got great energy, and So yeah, I'm excited. He's going to play some lap steel for the song we're playing today. We're going to play Hey Love, Hold On, which is the title track from the album.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you have a couple shows coming up on November 17th. You're going to be playing at Feckin Brewery.
Yeah.
And then on the 21st of November, you'll be at the Double Mountain Brewery.
In Woodstock, yeah.
Woodstock,
Not
yeah.
Hood River.
Not Hood River. And then more importantly, you're going to be our first look artist, and it's actually the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
So it's literally November 1st. So for those of you that need an excuse to party just a little harder, November 1st at Rock Hard PDX, Swag Nation Magazine is going to be sponsoring the event along with Portland Metro Records. And the song you're going to be playing today is just going to be amazing. I know it.
Oh,
So I
thank
can't
you.
wait to hear it.
Yeah.
And thank you again for taking the time to come out to do this. You're actually going to be the very first country artist to play Rock Hard PDX.
I know, I'm so excited. I just saw some friends of mine play there like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, now I'm going to be playing there, but it's country music. I was a little confused when you guys reached out to have me play, but I'm really excited about the concept and the idea behind what you're trying to do, and I'm excited to play, bring some musicians with me. So.
Yeah, and for some of the audience members that haven't made out the first look yet, what it is, it's a community of musicians and fans from different genres. So we actually have our very first house DJ, who I'm going to interview shortly, DJ Max, who's going to be actually guesting as the hosting DJ at Rock Hard PDX from November 1st. So we're going to have a house mix combined with the country sounds of Terri Lynn Davis, and then the Bar Pilots are going to be opening the show. And it's really neat because it's a chance for everybody to come together and see something different there.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, James Kemp Photography, he's going to be shooting exclusively in black and white, so you're going to have some cool pictures out of it, so everybody dress pretty. And yeah, let's get this show on the road. I want to hear you sing some songs.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thank you again,
Thank
Terri
you
Lynn.
so much for having
So
me
nice
on.
to meet you. Very
Yeah,
excited
nice
to
meet
hear
you
this
too.
song, and let's get Mr. Kinky in here.
Yeah.
I'm Rob Wessels with Portland Metro Records. Have a great day and be good to each other. Good evening and welcome back to Portland Metro Records presents Off the Record. This is a two-parter tonight. So yeah, you get a bonus, a double shot of Rob. Can you believe that? I know, it's amazing. But the cool part is, as part of First Look, we have a guest DJ each month. So Terri Lynn Davis is our featured artist, and then our featured guest DJ is actually a multimedia artist, Mr. Max Cohen. And Max, you're originally from New York City, correct?
That is correct. Yes,
Right on.
born and raised in New York.
Right on.
Now on the West Coast, out in Portland. I'm glad to be here. It's awesome. I love the vibe.
Cool, cool. So what brought you out here from the East Coast?
Well, I do a lot of touring throughout the world. I'm very privileged to actually have those type of opportunities. But my wife works in the medical industry, and she is home basing herself at OHSU right now. So
Oh, cool.
that's what brings me out to Portland.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. And now you're also tapped as a record producer as well, correct?
Right, right. So right now we've got White Label Records, which is in the UK, and that's run by Ricky White. Mm-hmm. And I also have an acting manager in London. His name's Don Louis George, and we run a company together called Some Blokes, which is a production company.
Nice.
It's awesome. It's kind of a nice little play on words.
Yeah.
And in the United States, I'm represented by 56th Street Records, which is in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
And the guy that owns that is Mike Red, and he's also a very big artist. His name's Hot Rock Superjoint, and we do a big collab with him. Cool. And he does a show called the Hot Rock Superjoint Super Show.
Nice.
And yeah, we bring in different artists and do different things. It's all about culture and stuff like that too as well.
Cool, cool.
So yeah, I've been drawn out to the West Coast basically by everyone.
Right on, right on. Well, this is awesome. I'm glad to have you here.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and where did it all start for you as a DJ? Was it production first, and then you got into DJ work, or was there somebody that kind of prodded you in that direction?
So I was that New York City club kid. Okay. The Michael Ellig, on Phil Donahue, who are these crazy kids nobody knew in the early 90s, mid 90s, you know, and all the different parties and the club scenes and everything. And one day I was in the middle of a club and I just looked at the DJ and I was like, I wonder what it's like to be that guy.
Like, I could do that.
What his perspective?
Yeah.
Where, what does he see? And I got an opportunity to kind of be in that role without being the DJ, where one of my friends brought me in the booth and I got to hang out, and that was just really cool.
Yeah.
And that kind of really inspired me.
Got to see what it takes to put a show together.
And back then, it was the late 90s, 97, 98. So if you had a pair of turntables and a mixer and vinyl records and you were decent, you could really be a DJ, Yeah. And I bought some equipment and I sat down with 6 records and not having any knowledge of how to use this equipment. And I started with 1 record, and until I learned how to mix into the other record, I just kept doing it and kept doing it, kept doing it.
Nice.
And then I got those 2 down. And I added a 3rd one and a 4th one and a 5th one. And eventually I got up to an hour set. I was very fortunate. In 2008, I signed a record contract with Infinity Records out of Chicago. My manager at the time was Corbin Grimes. And I fulfilled my record contract. I did a 2-record EP. And then I kind of steered away from the whole corporate music industry. I wasn't, it was a great experience, and I'm glad that I learned everything that I did. And I got into an underground scene, and that's when I met the current guy I'm working with, who's Don Louis George.
Okay.
And he has mentored me and basically let me do what I want as an artist to a certain degree.
Yeah.
He always kind of steps in and grounds me when I need to be grounded. But then at the same time, the relationship that we've built over the last, we've been together about 10 years now, he's more kind of like a father figure to me than he is a manager. Yeah. So I really value what he has to say to me because I always know that it's in my best interest. And I don't really feel that there's those types of relations within the corporate music industry.
Yeah, it's tough to find good mentors out there,
Definitely.
especially for up-and-coming artists.
Right.
I mean, and really there's different types of mentors in the entertainment and music scene. I mean, there's mentors that are, say, DJs with more experience or musicians with more experience, but they may not share with you the business side, or how to get the gig side.
Right.
And so having a manager that can look out for your best interest really does
Definitely.
help. Yeah. What has been your biggest accolade as a producer so far? Who have you been working with? Are there some artists that you've found kind of liking yourself to?
Yeah, definitely. I've been very privileged in that area too. I got to work on a project with Celine Dion.
Oh wow.
For Life Out of Love. Oh wow. And I did a remix project with Celine Dion.
That's cool.
That was definitely by far the biggest project I've worked on. I've worked with Serena Ryder from Canada. I've worked with Pascal Beaumont out of Montreal. As a matter of fact, Don Louis George wrote basically her entire album. And
kind
then
of a Canadian
I did
theme here.
Yeah, I did the remixing for that.
Nice.
Another Justin Timberlake. So we'll stay on that side of it too as well on the East Coast. But I definitely have to say Celine Dion, the biggest.
Oh yeah.
Out of everyone.
Did you actually get the chance to sit in the booth with her? Or
I got 1 session with her.
Wow.
And believe it or not, we did not work on music. It was a session of us literally. She was explaining to me what it was that she was looking for. Actually, wait, I take that back. There were 2 sessions because she did come back after I had done the construct for the remix track that she was looking for, and she previewed it with me.
That's
and
awesome.
That was a huge honor. Yeah.
That must have. Were you just a little bit nervous, or were you feeling pretty good when you walked in there?
I really didn't know what to expect. You know, I consider myself to be sort of like a B-list celebrity. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Where, you know, yes, I do travel, I play lots of shows, but never to, you know, that type of a constant crowd of hundreds of thousands of people.
Yep.
I really kind of just, my relationship with her was to just really kind of take a step back, take a deep breath, and just be in that normal type of conversation. And it actually produced amazing results because
That's
it was
awesome.
just like two people talking instead
That's
of,
cool.
in many music projects, being an artist as well. You know how things can go in a recording studio with engineers and things
Yep.
can get convoluted very quickly. So.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The only other one I think that comes up to that level for me in the DJ world is I had a chance very early in my DJ career to meet a mentor who was DJ Diesel Boy. His real name is Damien. And he was a huge influence after I started playing to really kind of carry me through.
Yeah.
His ability to work a crowd was right up there with another local guy I worked with. His name was Marty McFly. And, you know, these guys just had the ability to look at a room
They just had it.
and give you the best show possibly. And that's really kind of what I've focused on later in my DJ career. I think every DJ kind of hits a certain pinnacle. You can, you know, BPMs are BPMs, tracks are tracks, you know, mixing different genres and whatnot. But the ability to actually be in a place, or, you know, in this showcase that we'll do at Hard Rock, this amazing opportunity.
At
It's a
Rock Hard,
crowd that, at Rock
That's
Hard. It's amazing opportunity to showcase to a completely different crowd of people, like you said, people that aren't used to my genre of music.
Exactly.
And that is groundbreaking in many, many ways.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. When you look back on your career, are there any moments where, not necessarily stories from the road, but any awkward moments where you just kind of had to sit back and laugh?
Yes,
Everybody has them.
I got a good one. I was in a very prominent nightclub in Nevada, in the Rain Room in Vegas.
Okay.
And I was doing a DJ set, and there were a couple of people that were kind of hanging around the DJ booth. And this one guy who was very clearly intoxicated kind of skirted the edge, and there was a very thin ledge, a couple inches.
Yeah.
And he was tiptoeing his way across with his friend.
Oh, no.
So now they're like in the middle of the DJ booth.
Nowhere
Like
to go.
directly right in front of me, okay? And his one friend looks at me and he goes, "Man, I gotta tell you, we're really messed up right now." And he's like, "You're an amazing DJ." And one of my friends at this time literally looked the guy dead in the face and he goes, "Well, if you think you're messed up, what do you think the DJ's on right now?" And the guy was just like, I got one more good one for you.
Sure.
I was doing a show in the Niagara Falls Convention Center.
Niagara Falls.
Yep, totally taken by surprise. And I was playing with a very famous DJ, DJ Funk. Okay?
Okay.
DJ Funk's thing at this point in time of his career was he really liked crowd interaction. So he would always bring really hot girls with him. So this night I'm doing my set, opening for DJ Funk, and all of a sudden I turned and there are literally 6 scantily clad girls in bubble wrap bikinis. And I'm like, yeah, that's something that doesn't happen every day either.
Well, unfortunately, we will not have bubble-clad girls at Rock Hard PDX. Well, maybe we will, because it is the day after Halloween, November 1st. We can only wish.
We can make requests for that,
We
right?
could make requests for that. So, audience, those of you that are 21 and over that may have some bubble wrap lying around, wear it to Rock Hard PDX. One of us will buy you a drink.
I'll be so kind as to feature you for my DJ set too, as well as a go-go dancer.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That will be awesome.
I'm Rob Wessels, and this is Max Cohen. This is Portland Metro Records presents Off the Record. Thank you all. Be good to each other, and have a great night.
it's a tech geek or a beat freak or disaster in the heart of the day, if it's a news feed or a bad seed or another Moses show in the way, and if it's cold, if it rains outside, if the market's gonna topple today, if I'm bold, if my brain's on fire, if I'm walking in or walking away, if it stands